Hello, and welcome to the demo for my very first custom plane in SimplePlanes 2. I know I have done a video or two before this, but this is kind of getting into its final form, I think. And it started out as a plane that I was building just so I could throw stuff on to learn how to build in this game and how to make different things function. But it slowly became kind of, my plane. I really like it. I really enjoy flying it, and I'm kind of proud of where I've come in the game in the time that I've played. So I thought I would just make a quick video sharing it all with you, and we'll go over a few things. I will try and remember to divide it into chapters so you can skip around if you want. So first we're going to go over the changes that I've made since the last video or last major version of this plane. And then we're going to go over the features real quick, and then we're going to go over how to fly it. So first thing we'll do is we'll go over the changes, which I listed in here because it's easier for me to keep track of what I'm doing. So we'll just go down here. So I moved the guns. They were just in little holes up here, and now they are in bays under the nose here that deploy. We will get to I added a GPS module by a person or player or account or whatever you want to call them, a pilot crafter by the name of KU or Ku Aerospace. They made a really awesome GPS module that they uploaded recently that I put in here. I'll show you that later. You should definitely check it out. If you follow their instructions when you set it up, it's really easy and it works great. So I removed the air brakes because they were just, with the shape of the plane, it causes a lot of instability. So it's got a parachute to use for landing, which is a lot more realistic, I think. I moved around and reconfigured the cockpit instruments, which we will see here shortly, as well as kind of adjusted some of them. I tuned the engines, so it's got a bit more power on takeoff now, so it's a bit easier to get up to speed. I removed the small target pod from the front to make it more stealthy and installed a normal target pod inside the bomb bay that activates when you open the bay. I increased the fuel capacity some because it was a little low if you were burning full afterburner all the time. You'd only get about 5 minutes around sea level out of it. I rebuilt the missile bays completely to fit better. I adjusted the fuselage so now they don't stick out like a sore thumb. They line up nice and clean with the fuselage now. And then also, as somebody pointed out, the ones that were opening vertically were, essentially a realistic air brake. And I made those by a request, but it's something I wanted to change anyways, as well as the piston ones are kind of weird, but both of those were just things I was making to kind of figure out how to play the game and how to build stuff. And if you didn't see the original video, I just had one where the flap hinged open and the missile stuck to the bottom of it. And then the other one opened along the long edge and a piston raised the missile up and it fired off of that. So both really weird, but me just learning how to build stuff. So I've replaced those with some rotational ones, which I'll show you when we get up in the air. And then I had different activation groups for all the missiles that open the bays and stuff, and I got rid of that completely. And now the bays just automatically open when you select that weapon. So here it is. Let's go ahead and we'll get to the next section. Now that we've got the changes, we've got the features now. I spent a lot of time crafting the cockpit because I come from playing a lot of Sims. I like immersion, so I spent a lot of time working on this. So we've got our displays, our gauges, landing gear button, arresting hook if you want to land on a carrier, manual brake lock, parachute, drop fuel pods. We've got a button for each weapon group, switching targets. Another weapon group we have, which are some anti-radiation missiles that fire rearwards. So if you've got somebody following you trying to lock you, you can lob a missile back at them. And then this awesome GPS made by the person I spoke about before, Ku Aerospace. And then I've also got all the control surfaces set up with a kind of a custom fly-by-wire system. They're all kind of calibrated to help stabilize this weirdly shaped beast. So I think I've got it flying pretty well. So next we're going to get into how to fly it. So you just want your brake on, which it is right now. You can use your hotkey or whatever you want. We've got engine start, so we're going to go ahead and click that. And that's going to angle our GPS up so we can see it a bit better and then give us a couple more MFDs. We're just going to set these to whatever we want to set them to. I've got one for each, so you can kind of do it however you want. Alright, now we're going to set our trim to about minus 45%, and that adjusts these flaps at the rear, which are thrust vectoring to help trim out the aircraft and control it. Alright, so then what we're going to do is we are going to push our throttle up to max, and you see I've got an active fuel gauge down here that will actually calculate how much fuel you have left and your fuel flow. It'll just take a second to even out here since we just started the burner. There we go. We've got about 14 minutes on full burner right now. We're burning 11 units a second. So now that we got our burner on, we're just going to turn our brake off. And I will go to the external view for this one. Get our display back up here. Alright, then when we get up to about 500, we're just going to rotate very gently. This has a lot of authority at this speed at takeoff. And then we do have retracting gears, so I can put those away. And then you can just trim it out with the rear there to get it kind of flying level how you want it. And then with the fly-by-wire system and the stabilization, I've got it quite stable. You definitely want to keep it at a decent speed because a shape like this is going to be very likely to stall at low speeds. Now for the weapons, what we'll do is we will switch to air-to-air mode, and then we'll cycle through our weapons. So our first one, rotate out right there, those are our active radar homing missiles. Then we switch again, and we've got our IR missiles, and then one more time, and we've got our rearward facing anti-radiation missiles if people are chasing us. So I will spawn a plane in here, and we'll see if we can take him out. There we go, we got him right there. We're going to switch our target to him. Let's get our air-to-air mode. We get our radar missiles. I've got the cone pretty narrow on it, so they've got good range. We're just going to get a lock here. Alright, box 3. We'll see if he breaks that lock or not. Oh, he's locking me up. We're going to start blowing countermeasures. It's going to be basically... Oh, that was close. Oh, I heard the missiles zip by. Did you hear that? But we got him. Then we just switch out of that mode and they close up. Very nice. And you can do the same thing with the IR missiles. They're a bit shorter range. Obviously they're IR, so they're going to be more effective from behind. And then the rearward facing active anti-radiation missiles, if somebody's following you and trying to lock you up, just switch to those. You can tilt your view around back if you need to. And you get your target there. And you can just lock them up like a normal radar missile and fire. Alright, so now we'll go back into the cockpit here, take a look. See, we've got all our instruments here. Our fuel flow, we've got 7 minutes at this altitude. If you go to a higher altitude, the engines are much more efficient. You can see I've got a HUD configured there that has our true airspeed, indicated airspeed, altitude, how many Gs we're pulling, and our missile counts. And then I've also got a light up bar across the nav ball there just to make it a little bit easier to tell when you're at the level you want to be here. We'll go to dark. There we go. I really like flying this from the cockpit at night because, I don't know, I like the shiny lights. Trim it out. We'll switch air to ground, activate our palm bay. We can move our laser target down there. And then we can also use the camera if we wish. There we go. And then when you want to drop your bombs, it is just number 4. And there we go. Obviously, they didn't hit right on the mark. We were really close to it, but... So I kind of designed this as inspired by the F-117 Nighthawk, but more of a multi-role fighter. Now, one more thing, we've got Action Group 8, which opens our guns up front if you need to get up close. I've got those dialed in pretty accurately, so you've got those if you want them as well. And then we've also got the inlet ports and the exhaust port that adjust according to whether your afterburner's on or not. And then we've got conformal fuel drop pods here, which we can drop from inside just by hitting those, and there they go. Alright, well, I hope you've enjoyed my demo of my little plane here. It does have a few other little features that you can find yourself. I'll have a link to download it in the description and or the comments. And let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any ideas or anything you want to see in the game, let me know. Think about giving me a sub. I'm doing plenty of SimplePlanes 2 content. So until next time, take care, be safe, and I will see you later.